today's lesson, we're going to use the sine rule, the cosine rule, and the area rule. It's summarized on this paper. It's also summarized on this one. I will put this on Telegram. So let's start with our first example. We have a flagpole. This is example 21. We have a flagpole planted in grass. So there is my grass. And my flag. Now let's quickly look. If this is my flagpole and it stands in the grass and there's a small little man there and a small little man here, what will the angle be between this flagpole and the man? What will that angle be? So if we have a flagpole and a small little man, what will this angle be? 90 degrees. So that's my first question. If this angle is 90 degrees, what will this angle be? Also 90 degrees. Angle DAC. DAC. So that angle will be 90 degrees. That's question 1. Angle DAB, that angle will also be 90 degrees. I can also explain it with this yellow piece of cotton. If this is my flagpole, what is that angle? 90 degrees. If that is my flagpole, what is that angle? Also 90 degrees. Okay. Now, they want to know what is the length of AC. That means if there is a small little man standing there, what is the distance between the flagpole and the man? Now what I did is, if that is the flagpole, and I put it flat, I drew this triangle here. I'm going to use this triangle with all of these information in this triangle. I know it's a 90-degree angle. I know that angle of elevation is 35 degrees. And I know that the flagpole is 5 meters long. They want to know what is the length of AC. Can we determine what size angle D will be?
Yes.
How?
Interior angles of triangle.
Interior angles of triangle. So we're going to say angle D will be 180 minus 90 minus 35, and we get 55 degrees. You always start with what you want. I want this side length. Do I have his Chomi's angle? Yes. Okay, so I can draw a little blade. of the propeller. Do I have another angle with these chummy side lengths? Yes, C. If you can draw a propeller, which rule do you use?
Sine.
Sine. And I want a side length, so what stands on top?
What you want to
The side length. So AC, I want this. AC over sine 55 will be equal to, I started with a side length on top, so I must use the side length on top as well. dA, or 5 meters, over sine 35. Now I can calculate AC with cross multiplication. So AC times sine 35 equals 5 times sine 55. But I want AC, so I need to get rid of this sine 35. I divide with sine 35, divide with sine 35. These cancel out, and AC equals, now you just type that into your calculator, and you will get 7,14 meters. The next question is, how far does this little man stand from the flagpole? So I want AB's length. Again, we determined that this is 90 degrees. They give us the angle of elevation is 42 degrees. Can I calculate angle D? Yes. With angles of a triangle. And this is 48 degrees. I want AB. Do I have his chummy? Yes. I have a D. Do I have another angle with his chummies at side length? Yes. B. I have a propeller, so I use the sine rule. AB over sine 48 equals AD, which is 5, over sine 42. Cross multiply. AB times sine 42 equals 5 times sine 48. But I want AB alone, so I need to divide with sine 42. That cancels out, and AB equals, you type that into your calculator, and get 5,55 meters. Any questions so far? Now let's look at angle of question C. In question C, I want the distance between the two people. So how far do they stand from each other? We want this side length. We calculated that AC equals 7,14 and that AB equals 5,55. They tell us that the angle there is 65 degrees. Do I have a propeller with two chommies? No, so I can't use the sine rule. But what do you see? What can I use? The safety pin. So it is this side length with that angle with this side length. To calculate CB squared. So CB squared equals AC squared, which is 7,14, plus AB squared, which is 5,55 squared, minus 2 times 7,14 times 5,55 cos 65 degrees. Then you type everything in and you get CB squared equals 48,28791,228. This is still an intermediate step, so you have to write all the digits.
Do you use a mark for not writing the formula?
Yes, you actually should write the formula, but I left a little bit of not enough space. Okay. I want CB, I don't want CB squared. So I take the square root on both sides. And then CB equals the square root of that equals 6,95 meters. And I want it for 2 digits, so you have to round off to 2 digits. Remember that you always round off at the final step, not in between. Number D, I want the area of the grass. So the area rule applies. Again, we use the safety pin. This side length times that side length times a half times sine 65. Judah, are you awake? So it's a half times AC times AB times sine 65 degrees. That is a half times AC is 7,14 times AB is 5,55 times sine 65 degrees. Type that into your calculator and then you get 18 square meters. Remember in these sums that you have to write your units. Meters for the side length, square meters for area, and degrees for angle sizes. Okay. Any questions here? Your homework for tomorrow. Example 8 of last week. Okay.